Hello and welcome. I am BA from the Wheels in the Sky site, and this is W.D. Gann Methodology, Series 2, Part 1, called Tunnel. Gann wrote a book in 1927 called The Tunnel Through the Air, and it's written in a certain unique style, to say the least. And it's confused many, and I want to cut through a little bit of that confusion here for you, okay? From page 300 of the book, it states, Mr. Gordon, do you know the market is following the forecast you mapped out in 1927? Then he goes on to say that the end will not come until the summer or fall of 1932 on that same page. In the back of the book, there's this war period, okay? And a lot of people are really confused as to what that war is. Well, you're looking at it right now. The war in the back of the book is here, okay? It says, Mr. Gordon, do you know the market is following the forecast you mapped out in 1927? And remember, I told you that the book was written in 1927, okay? So you can see here, this is the war period. Now, what's so important about this book, and what I'd say 95% plus of people that are missing out there, is this book contains the cycles that are not found, the explanations for the cycles that are not found in the master courses. This is where Gann talks at length about different types of cycles. But he doesn't just come out and give them to you. He makes you work for them a little bit. All right? And it's important to understand that this is a very, very important book. And unfortunately, it's been dismissed by a lot of Gannophiles out there as just being a sappy love story. No, this is the war period. Okay? Listen to this. From page 304. Oh, I'm sorry. Look at this. Right down here. This is the low, which came in, it was actually July, let's see if I can move that, July 8th, 1932. All right? And he says, he goes on to say that the end will not come until the summer or fall of 1932. And that's on page 300 of the book. And this was written way back here, 1927. All right? But it gets better. When the enemy attacks, the Dow goes down. When there's a Robert Gordon victory and the good news gets out like it did in August of 1930 when the Tokyo J1 was captured, stocks go up. Listen to this. This is from page 304. After months of waiting and only a few scouting expeditions, a sudden attack occurred in March of 1931. Right here. Then it goes on to say, there was a panic in Wall Street. Stocks crashed rapidly. All right, you see that? You see that? And he's writing from 1927. What he's doing in here is he's got all of his main cycles are hidden in this book. They're coded like this. So like I told you earlier in the series, all these turns are caused by cycles. So, where do you learn about the cycles that W.D. Gann was using? You learn about them in the Tunnel Through the Air. He didn't put them, he showed applications with the cycles in his master courses, but he never went into great length as to exactly where these are and how to find them in his master courses. He put that information in Tunnel. That's the key that a lot of the general public that's studying Gann misses. And that's how come they don't have consistent results. There's that misunderstanding of what these cycles are or what he's actually using. Okay? So that brings us to the book Tunnel Through the Air. In this book, Gann uses different inventions or different airships to describe his cycles. So what you have to do is you have to use keywords and go through the book and to cipher out each time that this is mentioned, and you have to put that in a separate file. I've done a little bit of this for you, and I've, as you can see here, the gas keyword invention. Note, sleeping gas keyword is not sufficient, as gas mentioned several times without the word sleep. And then page 271, Walter and Edna completed a great chemical discovery, harmless gas used in war for medical purposes. They remained asleep for 7 days with no effects. Edna tested gas and remained asleep for 7 days with no ill effects. Robert knew that the sleeping gas invented by Kenilworth could do. As you can see, it's listing the page numbers here. All right, and it's also every time that that's mentioned. The most important thing is to connect what's going on with a specific date. Supreme Commander Gordon, on top of the Detroit giant skyscrapers of 80 stories high, ordered sleeping gas turned on. And it's got a date, attack on Detroit, December 7, 1931. So what he's doing, then you would go into that area, and you've got this area down here, which is what he's talking about, December 7, 1931. And you would look at what happens. But it's a cycle, so you need more than 1 point to correlate that with. You need other points, all right, to go in and look at, because you can't do a cycle from just 1 point. You need multiple points. So here's another date for you. Okay. Page 355, February 15th, 1932. Supreme Commander Gordon informed by Henry Motor Company and Major Electric Company that gas distribution machines ready for delivery. Okay. Battle of New York City down here, which is June 8th, 1932. So, and then it describes how it's used and what it does and everything. And so that's how you decipher these cycles in here. A lot of people that haven't spent time on this have read it, and they didn't understand what's actually in here. This is the most important book that Gann wrote. If you find someone that is consistently successful in this field, ask them which one of Gann's books is the most important. If they're really successful, they'll tell you it's the Tunnel Through the Air. If not, they'll mention another book. And that's how for years I've judged where, if people really knew what they were talking about. I asked them, what's the most important book Gann wrote? If they mention something other than Tunnel Through the Air, it red flags me. This book is the most important because it's where he put his cycles. And without the cycles, you can't do the master courses. Okay, you can't do anything Gann was talking about with consistency without the cycles. And that's the key that so many people are missing. All right? And the cycles are very important. And where did he put them? It's, like I said, it's in Tunnel Through the Air. So the war period back here in this book is actually Gann describing his cycles and how they work. And it's also a forecast for this entire period. He forecasted it from 1927. That's what it says. From page 300 again. Mr. Gordon, do you know the market is following the forecast you mapped out in 1927? And it's extremely accurate. So, like I said, earlier in the series with George Bayer and all that stuff, these guys know exactly what the market's going to do, and that's what makes this field so worth it, and it's been emulated since then. I personally know people that are extremely successful in the field. All right. Now the question remains, well, hey, where do I go to get more information on Tunnel Through the Air? Now that BA showed me a little bit about what it's truly about. And the answer to that is a site called wheelsinthesky.com. It's www.wheelsinthesky.com. And or you can visit our Yahoo site at Wheels in the Sky, all one word. That's where it is. Hey, I'm BA, and we'll see you there.